Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I welcome you all for this Brahma-saṁhitā discussions. We are at the Shloka 32. And we'll be discussing one or two shlokas. Let's see what is Krishna's plan. Hare Krishna. So I'll read the shloka and then we'll see the purport. Okay. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmaya sadujjvala vigrahasya govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So here text 32 translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged function of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. So this is the Shloka 32. After describing Lord's Dham in Shloka 29, Chintamani, Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha, and then describing Lord's form, Venum Kvanantam and Kelikala, Pranaya Kelikala Vilasam in Shloka 31, describing the Lord's pastimes. Now, next four Shloka will describe the special energies of the Lord, the powers of the Lord, his might, his opulences. And particularly this shloka describes the unique powers of Lord's own form, on Lord's body. So here we'll read the purport and then we'll see discussion. Here, the purport said, for want of a taste of things spiritual, a grave doubt arises in the minds of those who are enchained by the worldly knowledge. On hearing narration of the pastimes of Krishna, they think that the truth, tattva regarding Krishna, is the mental concoction of certain learned scholars, created by their imaginative brains out of material drawn from the mundane principles. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur in his English says, for want of taste of things spiritual, not really having taste for spiritual thing, not really understanding spiritual matter, people have a doubt that how Krishna's pastimes are spiritual, not material. Okay? And I said it is somebody made it up, it's all made up by the great rishis and is all imaginative like that. With the object of removing this harmful doubt, Brahma in these and three following shlokas, after distinguishing between the two things, spirit and matter, in rational manner, he tried to make one understand the pure lila of Krishna, obtained by his unmixed ecstatic trance. So here Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur says that the reason why Brahma spoke this verse, to remove doubt that Krishna's body or Krishna's leelas, Krishna's form are material. Actually, they are fully spiritual. So in four shlokas, he's going to show the extraordinary opulences, powers, Krishna's energies, how they act. So in this shloka, he starts describing this body of Krishna. Okay. So how he got the knowledge? Obtained by his unmixed ecstatic trance, pure trance, revelation, given to him by the blessing of Krishna, that he got spiritual body, spiritual eyes, and he is seeing the Lord, he is seeing his form, he is seeing his powers displayed in front of his own eyes. So Brahma is experiencing this, pratyaksha praman. What is that? Divya pratyaksha, vaidusha pratyaksha. He is seeing with his spiritual eyes, with his spiritual senses. Brahma wants to say that the form of Krishna is all existence, all knowledge and bliss, whereas all mundane experiences are full of palpable ignorance. Palpable ignorance. So here, Ananda Chinmaya Sadujjvala Vigrahasya. This is how he said, Ananda Chinmaya Sadujjvala Vigrahasya. Ananda means bliss, Chit means truth, Maya, full of Sat, substantiality, Ujjvala, full of dazzling splendor, Vigrahasya, his form. Ananda Chidmaya Sadujjvala Vigrahasya. So this is how Brahma described that Brahma wants to say that the form of Krishna is all existence, all knowledge and bliss, whereas all mind and experience are full of palpable ignorance. Although there is a specific difference between the two, the fundamental truth is that spiritual affairs constitute the absolute source. Yes, material body is different from spiritual body. Material affairs are different from spiritual affairs. But in essence, the root cause is in the spiritual world. The spirit is cause of both. Okay, they have absolute source. The specification and variegatedness are ever present in it. By them are established the transcendental abode, form, name, quality, and sports of Krishna. So the spiritual varieties are there. Spiritual activities are there. Forms are there. Feelings are there. Attachments are there. Emotions are there. But they're all pure and spiritual. And all the spiritual qualities are found in Krishna's name, abode, form, qualities, pastimes, sports are translated pastimes, leelas, sports. So it is only by a person possessed of pure spiritual knowledge and freedom from any relationship with Maya that those amorous pastimes of Krishna can at all be appreciated. So now this is the condition. So how to understand this transcendental nature of Krishna's pastimes or Krishna's form or Krishna's name is that when we are free from Maya, then we can understand. This is the condition. Therefore, the whole purpose starts with a lack of knowledge from the not receiving proper knowledge from parampara. Therefore, doubts arise about Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's pastimes. The spiritual abode, the seat of pastimes, emanated from Chit potency and formed of Chintamani, transcendental philosopher's stone, and the figure of Krishna are all spiritual. So his abode, his form are both spiritual. Just as Maya is the perverted reflection of the spiritual potency, the varietedness created by Maya, ignorance, is also perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness. So, a mere semblance of the spiritual variegatedness is only noticed in this mundane world. So, whatever opulence we see here, whatever beauty we see here, it's just reflection, it's just semblance, it's just a kind of unsuccessful photocopy of the original one. We see the beautiful sunset or beautiful mountains or beautiful flowers. We say, wow, how beautiful it is. Huh? And what is it? It's just perverted reflection of the original forms, smells, colors, whatever, shapes. So this is what it is. It's a semblance. It's just perverted reflection. Notwithstanding such semblance, the two are wholly different from one another. So that origin and the shadow of it, or perverted reflection, they are completely different. Though they are looking similar, they're looking similar to each other. No? Krishna is talking to the girlfriends, and we are talking to the girlfriends. So semblance is there, looks same, but wholly different one from another, nothing to do with mundane. Krishna's pastimes, nothing to do with mundane, lustful approach, lustful dealings between the species in material world. The wholesomeness of matter, it's defect, unwholesomeness. The unwholesomeness of matter is its defect, because matter is not spiritual, has a limits by time. Matter is limited by time. But in spirit, there is variegatedness, which is free from any fault or contamination. The soul and the body of Krishna are identical, whereas the body and soul of fallen creatures are not so. In the spiritual sphere, there is no such a difference as that between the body and soul, between the limbs and their proprietor, between the attributes and the objects possessing them of this world. But such differences really exist in the case of conditioned souls. Look at this expression. Limbed though Krishna is, his every limb is the whole entity. So this is nice in the old English expression, limbed though Kṛṣṇa is, Kṛṣṇa has a form, he has a body. What is body? Body is just senses. What is the body? You look at the hands, the legs, the head, the ears, the nose, the senses, nothing else, skin, nothing else is there. Body is assembly of the senses, limbs. Limbed though Kṛṣṇa is, Kṛṣṇa has the body. His every limb is the whole entity, but his every limb is having power and to perform function of any other limbs. This is the description of Brahma-saṁhitā. That not God is impersonal, God is a person, not that God has no form, he has a form. And now Brahma described, but this type of form, this type of limbs, this type of power, this quality, spiritual. He performs all varieties of divine spiritual functions with every one of his limbs. Can you imagine this? That every one of the limbs can do function of other limbs. This is amazing. This is extra. We have no experience of it. Maybe a little bit. Hence, he is an indivisible, whole, and perfect transcendental entity. Both Jiva soul and Kṛṣṇa are transcendental, so they belong to the same category. But they differ in this, that the transcendental attributes exist in the Jiva soul is infinitesimally small degrees, whereas in Kṛṣṇa, they are found in their fullest perfection. So this is the difference, that we are eternal, God is eternal. Now, we are conscious, God is conscious. Nityo nityanam, chetanas chetananam. But the difference is, eko bahunam yo vidadati kavan. The difference is, he has so much power that he maintains, sustains others. That even in qualities, he surpasses. Qualities and quantity, we say in quantity he surpasses, but even in qualities he surpasses. Jiva can develop till some extent some of the Lord's quality. Correct? After the 64 Krishna's quality listed by Acharyas, how much Jiva can develop maximum? Lord Brahma goes up to 50 qualities. But even these 50 qualities, they are not fully manifested like in Kṛṣṇa, till some extent. So, small degree. Those attributes manifest themselves in their proper infinitesimality only when the Jiva soul attains his unadulterated spiritual status. Even those qualities which Jiva can express, that will be expressed only when Soul Swarupa is revealed, not when it is covered by Maya, not when it is covered by subtle body and the gross body. Jiva also has so many qualities and powers, but they are covered now with matter. So when Swarupa is revealed, then only those qualities which are similar to Lord's will be manifested. The Jiva soul attains the nearest approach to the absolute identity only when the spiritual force of ecstatic energy appears in him by the grace of Kṛṣṇa. The Jiva Swarupa is revealed by the blessing of Chit and Hladini potency, combination of Chit and Hladini potency. Here is say ecstatic energy appears in him. When ecstatic energy appears, this is Sachit Ananda is ecstatic energy, Hladini Shakti. By the mercy of Hladini Shakti, the one Swarupa is revealed and one's love of God is manifested by the grace of Kṛṣṇa. Still, Kṛṣṇa remains the object of the universal homage by reason of his possession of certain unique attributes. So now even if Jiva manifested full spiritual potency, like Kṛṣṇa, still Kṛṣṇa remains worshipful. Even in all his avatars, they cannot manifest these certain attributes which Kṛṣṇa manifests. So he is uncomparable even to avatars, what to speak of the Jivas. No? These fourfold, unreviled attributes do not manifest themselves in Narayana, the Lord of Vaikuntha, or in primeval Purusha avatars, or in the highest deities such as Shiva, not to speak of Jivas. So these four attributes that Kṛṣṇa manifests, even Lord Narayan manifests only 60. These four distinctions are the Rupa Madhurya, Venu Madhurya, Lila Madhurya, and Prema Madhurya. These four are listed in Nectar of Devotion that Lord Kṛṣṇa manifests that even Narayan won't manifest. Okay, so this is described in this shloka. After describing the Lord's abode, Lord's form, Lord's pastimes mentioned, now the fourth shloka will describe this inconceivable powers and glories. So Srila Jiva Goswami immediately quotes from the Upanishads. Okay, immediately Srila Jiva Goswami quotes from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Sarvatra Panipadam, Tat Sarvatokshi Shiromukam. Everywhere his hands and feet and everywhere his eyes, head and mouth. And this is an interesting quote, showing, what does it show? He said that shows that he can do any function with any of his senses. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimati. And you will see Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains a little more about this quote. So the Lord, Srila Jiva Goswami said, the Lord used his senses, his limbs, Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jagant. That by seeing, he creates, impregnates material nature by his eyes. So this is how he used interchangeably his senses, for example. And also maintains and also manifests everything, spiritual and material. Everything is manifested by his will, by his potencies, in using his senses interchangeably, or by using his senses interchangeably. And his form is established as a Ananda Chidmaya Rasa, means completely spiritual. Sat, Chit, and Anand. So Prabhupada gave the few classes on Brahma-saṁhitā. In this particular verse, Prabhupada said, this verse is particularly important because it describes the significance of Sachitananda Vigraha. And this is exactly what Srila Jiva Goswami commented in Brahma-saṁhitā, that this shloka particularly shows the opulence, the powers, the splendor of Krishna's form. The Lord body is Sachitanand. His body is not like ours. Our body is Achit. Asat, Achit, Niranand. Asat means temporary. Achit means that we are born in ignorance. And Niranand, that this body is cause of suffering, is not cause of ananda, is not cause of giving us pleasure. Just the opposite. Asat means it will not exist. And Achit means it's full of ignorance. And Niranand. Niranand means full of miseries. These three qualifications are our body, whereas the Lord's body is Sachitananda. It is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Our body with ourself, my body and myself are different. But Lord and Lord's body is absolute. What is Lord? Lord's body is also the same. What is Lord and Lord's body? They are the same. So that description is given. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimati. The Lord is not impersonal. He has got his form. And what sort of form? We should not consider that whenever there is a question of form, form must be just like one of us. This is foolishness. So this is what we hear from impersonalists. Now, as soon as you mention form, you are limited God. Why you say form? Why form? You're putting God is something limited, particular. But you are limiting God not having form. Why God should not have form? Why one form? Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadip, Ananta Rupam, unlimited forms. That is God. God can have no form and he can have a form. He can do whatever he wants to do. He has all the powers. Why you say no form? I'm embodied by the force, by the laws of material nature in this form. But Lord is not embodied in the same form. And this is what Shastra described, Sachitananda. So Lord can have a form and not be material and limited like our form. Sat Chitanand. He is in body, but he remembers previous lives. No? Vedaham. What is the shloka in Bhagavad Gita? Vedaham sarvani. Natvam veta parantapa. Parantapa, you don't remember previous lives, but I remember. Bahuni me vyatitani janmanita vachajana. Vedaham. I know, Arjun. Natvam veta parantapa. You do not know. Krishna, why? Because he came in his own spiritual body. Sat, Chit, Anand. Eternal body, full of knowledge. Past, present, future, he knew. He showed that. He manifested that form of his in this material world, but it remained spiritual. Did not become affected by the time or by Maya or by anything. No? So the impersonalists, they cannot understand. They say form means matter, embodiment, condition. So as soon as you say form is not spiritual, but it's not true. Now, this form is completely different. Just like we have explained, his form is Satchidananda Vigraha, and this present material body is Asat Achit Nirananda. Just completely different. So this is something very amazing, that spirit is not opposite than matter. It's not just black and white. Matter is visible, spirit is invisible. No, spirit also can become visible, because from spirit matter comes. That means the spirit has no limits manifesting any apparently material thing, anything, material form, material sound, or anything, How we are chanting Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So my material voice, material mouth, material tongue produces the sound. And this is transcendental spiritual vibration. How is it so? How is it? Why is it spiritual? It's completely material. No, it's completely spiritual, because the spirit has a potency by Krishna's power. Krishna can manifest in these worlds. And how much he manifests? Yayata mam prapadyanta. This is the system. It's very simple. Prabhupada said, if you think the Lord form of the deity is material, he will remain the stone for you. But if you're worshipping, Lord has power to appear in the stone. He can appear in the air, like to Mother Devaki and Vasudeva in Mathura. He can appear from within the pillar. He has no problem. Anytime, any place, any circumstance to appear from anywhere. He appeared from the nose of Brahma. And Brahma, what is it? He did not know. Small like a bug, then grew and become huge Varaha. Lord has so much potency. He can just appear wherever he wants to appear. Any form, any time, any place, spiritual world or material, whatever he wants. This is Bhagavan, unlimited powers. So the impersonalists, they are not accepting the form of the Lord. They are not accepting varieties of spiritual world. They are not accepting. As soon as you say form, they don't want to discuss anymore. But look at this form. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Not form like you and me. He can have many forms. Krishna dancing Ras Leela. So many forms. This is amazing. Simultaneously. Lord Chaitanya dancing in Ratha Yatra. 7 parties were there. He manifests 7 forms. And every party think, he's only with us. What a bliss. Oh, Chaitanya came to our party. What a bliss. They could not see second Chaitanya dancing with another party. Only few devotees could see. Gopis also feel the same. Oh, Krishna is dancing only with me. Of all the gopis, Krishna is, what a bliss, Huh? Gopas, they are eating, how many? 100,000 of them, sitting around Krishna. So those who are at the back, they are frustrated. No, they are looking at Krishna, Krishna is just looking at me. Of all the gopas, he is looking at me. We are talking, we are exchanging prasadam. This is Krishna's inconceivable potency. He can do that. No, we are neglected by our parents, we are neglected by our friends, we are neglected by our teachers, we are neglected by our government. We are nobodies. We are always feeling, oh, I'm alone, I'm not protected, I'm neglected. But Lord has potency to reciprocate all the time, in all circumstances, with everyone. Therefore, there is no envy in spiritual world. There is no competition. There is no fear somebody will occupy my seat. There is no fight for the position. Everything is fixed. Your place is fixed, your service is fixed, and Lord is there to reciprocate with you 24 hours. There is no fear. There is no fear. Unlimited. Lord is unlimited. He has these potencies. So, Srila Prabhupada now further explained this Ananda Chidmaya Sat Ujjvala Vigrahasya. Every limb of the transcendental body of the Lord is made of Ananda Chinmaya Sat Ujjvala. Thus, every limb is eternally bright, because Ujjvala means splendor, transcendental shine, brightness. As sunshine dissipates the darkness of this material world, the effulgence emanating from the body of the Lord immediately dries up the darkness in the heart of the conditioned soul. So, effulgence emanating from body of the Lord is Brahma Jyoti. So even Brahma Jyoti's reflection is this sun, which is giving us life in material world. Just reflection of the rays of Brahma Jyoti, of the body of the Lord. And now, when the soul sees the Lord, first you see such a beautiful effulgence from his body emanating. And that itself removes all the darkness in the heart of conditioned soul. In other words, everyone serious about understanding the transcendental science and seeing the transcendental form of the Lord must first of all attempt to see the lotus feet of the Lord by studying the first and second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Look at this. Look at this practical solution. You want to see God? Yes. So the lotus feet are represented the first and second canto of Bhagavatam. First two cantos are lotus feet of the Lord. Then goes slowly, description of full his body, and 10 canto is his lotus face. So you want to see the Lord. See by hearing. See by hearing. When one sees lotus feet of the Lord, all kinds of doubts and fears within heart are vanished. So even seeing first two cantos, even reading first two cantos, understanding, practicing that, is enough to remove all doubts about position, supreme position of Krishna. Ete cham sakala pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This is what first two cantos really established. So, okay, there is, Srila Prabhupada further explains the meanings. Again, pushing that point that Lord is not impersonal. Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya. Krishna's pastimes are all jubilant. Ananda Maya Bhyasat, Vedanta Sutra says, is by nature full of bliss. We shall never find Krishna unhappy. Krishna is always happy, and whoever associates with him is also happy. Therefore, he is known as Govinda. The word Go means senses. We are looking for sense gratification. If we associate with Krishna, we shall enjoy our senses abundantly, just like the gopis who are dancing with Krishna. Thus, there is no scarcity of sense gratification. But this sense gratification in association with Krishna is not gross sense gratification. Rather, it is the spiritual sense gratification enjoyed in the spiritual world. Ananda Chidmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya. That ananda or pleasure is not the third class ananda we enjoy with our bodily senses. Such bodily enjoyment is not ananda, but illusion. We are thinking, I'm enjoying. But that ananda is not factual, because we cannot enjoy this material pleasure of senses for long. Everyone has experienced that this material pleasure comes to an end. And this is what is killing in material world. This is really, the time factor is the ultimate problem. You know, everything ends up by the time. You marry beautiful, most beautiful lady in the world, the Miss Universe, but she cannot remain beautiful in spite of doing 300 plastic surgeries. She is not going to remain beautiful, or let us put it straight, she's not going to remain alive. So it's temporary. And then when temporary happiness, when happiness is given and taken away, that causes great disturbance, great distress. Husband and wife, somebody dies, wife dies, and then husband is suffering, you know. Anything material has beginning and end. House has beginning and end. Your car has beginning and end. This body has beginning and end. The beauty has beginning and end. Name, fame, glory, material possession, properties, money, everything has beginning and end. Then how we are going to be happy? Soul is eternal. Soul wants all this eternally. But it's not possible. This is illusion of material world. One who sees this, he can begin spiritual life. He can begin spiritual life. Spiritual enjoyment, however, does not end. Rather, it increases. Ananda Buddhivardhanam. Anandam Buddhivardhanam. That is the difference. Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusha. That we have to associate with Govinda. So this is the concept explained, that spiritual varieties are there, forms are there, pastimes are there. Sense gratification is there, but not like in material world. So the Shastra explained that when Vedas, Shrutis, Upanishads describe Lord as having no form, having no material quality, it means that he has no material form, no material qualities, no material activities. Doesn't mean that he has no form. So Acharyas quote immediately from different Shastras. Let me see, there is one more quote of Prabhupada. Okay, one more quote is there, I missed this one. Okay, one more quote of Prabhupada before I show the shlokas. Ananda Sadujvala Vigraha. It is not an ordinary Vigraha, like this. They got bitter experience. Prabhupada speaks about impersonalism. They've got bitter experience of this Vigraha, or this form. Therefore, they want to make God impersonal. Must be opposite. They've got this bitter knowledge that getting this body, we are suffering so much. Therefore, the God must be without the body, just opposite. This is also material thinking. Thinking in negative way. You see, Prabhupada exposed. This is not good logic. Yeah? If I say that, oh, Prabhuji today came in temple, first time, without pants, without shirt. Is he naked? No, Baba, he came in dhoti and kurta. That's what I'm speaking. No? So daily used to come in pants and shirt. And today he came, no pants, no shirt. No pants, no shirt. He came naked. No, he came in dhoti. So Bhagavan is described, arupa, niraga, nirguna. Why? No quality means no material qualities. No form, arupa, no material form. Anama, no name is no material name. And no name means not one name. Unlimited names. Vishnu Sahasranam, at least 1,000 names. Unlimited names. By the way, all names are not mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranam for your information. So many more names are there. No? So this is how it is described. It's not just negative way, just black and white, It's not like that. This is material thinking. But they have no knowledge that if God has body, but that is completely spiritual. It has nothing to do with the material body. They cannot think of spiritual body. No? So really one should hear from the Guru Parampara, otherwise they have big problem. So here, look at this quote. This is from Hayashirsha Pancharatra. Yaya Shrutir Jalapti Nirvishesham Sa Sad Bhiddate Savishesham Eva Vichara Yoga Sad Hantatasam Prayobaliya Savishesham Eva. Very, very clear description. Whenever the Vedas describe Lord as impersonal, that actually denotes his personal aspect. Whenever the two are examined, the personal aspect is always stronger. Look at this. Ya Shruti Jalpati Nirvishesham. Whenever Shruti says that he is Nirvishesham, so Sadbhidate Savishesham Eva. Definitely that refers to his qualities. Why? Savishesha, with attributes. Why? Because if I say is not material, actually indirectly indicates is spiritual. So if I say that Lord has no material form, definitely indicates his spiritual form. So whenever Shruti says Nirvishesha means Nirvishesha material, Savishesham spiritual. And you can see even in personalists they have this issue. But Veda says Nirvishesh, Nirguna. But Veda says Savishesh, Sadguna also. Sadguna Brahman also is there. Then they say, yes, that's right. Both are described. Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. Both are in Upanishads. But now what is that? When you compare two, when you examine these two, the personal aspect is always stronger. Because from personal aspect, impersonal aspect comes also. No? So this is a nice quote. Another one. Prarte param ishanam nirgunam nitya vigraham. Look at this. Nirgunam nitya vigraham. Complete contradiction. Nirgunam is impersonal. Nitya vigraham. Eternal form is nirguna. Means he has no material qualities. It's so clear. It cannot be more clear than this. How can you put in same sentence nirgunam nitya vigraham? He's exactly explained this. He has no material form, he has spiritual form. There is no contradiction. Otherwise you can't explain. How can you say nirgunam nitya vigraham? This nitya vigraham is nirguna. You cannot explain otherwise, no? Adyam purusham avyaktam. Adyam purusham avyaktam. Look at this one. Adyam purusham avyaktam. This original person is unmanifested. Or he has no form. Okay, so hear this. The Supreme Lord, who is above material nature, is without any material qualities. Even so, he does have an eternal form. So this is called Nirguna Nitya Vigraham. He has no material qualities, Nirgunam. Even so, he does have eternal form, Nitya Vigraham. He is the original personality of Godhead, who is always unmanifest and is widely invoked and praised. Why unmanifest? Because we cannot see him by material eyes. Therefore, avyakta. Avyakta means I cannot see God. You are seeing God. You can see God. Who can see God? Maybe somebody can see. I cannot see. Avyakta for me. But that doesn't mean he does not exist. Doesn't mean that he is impersonal. No? What is it? Adyam Purusham. He is personality, original personality of God. He is a personality. So this is explained in the Shastra. Now, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explained this further, this meaning of Agani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti. Please be attentive. This is very important. This is really another aspect given by Acharya's Rupa. It's mind-blowing. According to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Lord Krishna's transcendental body can also function through the agency of his plenary expansion called Vishnu Tattva. Now that will explain the Shvetashvatara's Upanishad's quote. As stated by Brahma himself in the Brahma-saṁhitā, Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti. This verse indicates not only that Lord can perform any bodily function with any of his limbs, but also that he can see through the eyes of his Vishnu expansions. Okay, so therefore, everywhere his eyes, everywhere his heads, how many forms are there? Unlimited. Krishna seeing through all his avatars all the time and through their limbs all the time. Look at this vision. Okay, look at this one. Or indeed, through the eyes of any living entity. Bhagavan can see through my eyes. This is his body. I'm his energy. He can use me as he likes. Krishna is looking at you through my eyes. But I should think myself, Krishna is looking at you, to me through all this eyes, what I'm talking. Correct? Look at this. Look with means Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti. It's such a broad thing, no? Such amazing. And similarly, that he can hear through the ears of any Vishnu Jiva expansions. And somebody say, how will God know? Nobody knows. I didn't finish my rounds yesterday. Thief is thinking, nobody sees me. No? Nobody can see. And Veda says, the sun is the witness, the moon is the witness, the day is the witness, the night is the witness, the air is the witness, the water is witness, the stars are witness, the 33 crores of devatas are witness, and there is a witness personified, Paramatma sitting in the heart, and the full things. Nobody have seen me. It's a mess. Okay, so look at this explanation. No? Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur points out that although the Lord can perform any function with any of his senses, in his transcendental pastime as Sri Krishna, he generally sees with his eyes, touch with his hands, hears with his ears, and so on. It's not that all the time all the senses are activated in that sense. No? He's acting just like a human, but he can do whatever he wants to do. Thus, he behaves like the most beautiful and charming young covered boy. That's all. No? So, for example, this is one. Srila Prabhupada goes on explaining. In our conditioned life, our bodies have different parts. But although Krishna apparently has different bodily parts, no part of his body is different from any other part. Krishna can see with his eyes, and Krishna can see without his eyes. Therefore, in Shvetashvatara Upanishad it says, Pashyatya Chakshu, Paniparo Javano Grahita, Pashyatya Chakshu Sashinotya Karna, Naveti Vedyam Nachatasya Veta, Tam Ahur Argyam Purusham Puranam. He has no feet or hands, yet he is the swiftest runner and can grasp anything. Again, spiritual body, not material body. And not only that, but now this refers to all the Vishnu's expansion, all the Jiva's expansion also, which he is using to see, touch, smell, know, whatever. Now you see this, now this completely in different perspective, you see the shlokas from Upanishads. Though without eyes or ears, he sees and hears. Nobody knows him, yet he is the knower and the object of knowledge. Sage describe him as supreme, original personality of Godhead. Tam ahur argyam purusham puranam. Purusha Puranam. Very clear Sanskrit, no? So Prabhupada says, he can see with his hands and legs. He can see with his hands and legs. He does not need particular body part to perform particular action. Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti. He can do anything he desires with any part of his body, and therefore is called Almighty. That is what God is. That makes sense to me. No? That makes sense to me. Huh? Not that, God was working 6 days on creation and 7 days he had to take rest. Your God should go visit gym regularly, get back into condition, come on. Become fit. Your God is unfit. He has to take rest. Ridiculous concept. Indeed, Bhagavan is always taking rest. He is always playing his flute. It makes sense, really. Okay, many times this shloka is quoted, Angani Yasa Sakalandya Vritti Manti by Prabhupada and other preachers of Krishna consciousness, particularly in that sense, showing that Lord creates by his eyes. So this you will find so many times quoted. Srila Prabhupada says, in the Vedic literature they say, Saikshata, Sasrijata, simply by seeing, he impregnated all the energies for creation, simply by seeing. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Sweti Sacharacha. Maya Adhyaksha, under my eyes. Again, that indicates by eyes, by glancing, he created everything. No? Maya Adhyakshena. Simply by his glance. Simply by his glance, he impregnates the material energy for functioning. It is going on. So he has got all the potencies in all the parts of his body. Look at this. All, you know how many Krishna potencies he has? All the potencies are in all the parts of his body. Oh, this is almighty. This is really almighty. This is amazing. Angani yasya sakalandya vrittimanti pashanti panti kalayanti. That is the difference between his body and our body. This is very clear. We are not God. And then this party comes, God has no form and we are all God. Both are wrong, really. Both are the grossest ignorance. Neither you know God's opulences of form, neither you know the transcendental nature of his form. And then you misunderstand yourself to be God, which is completely conditioned, beaten by Maya. Beaten by Maya. I'm free, I'm independent. And Maya is banging, bang, 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 I'm anyway free, and break our teeth. You cannot even speak. I'm happy. I'm a God. You're completely broken down by Maya, by external potency, and the fellow is thinking, I'm God. Not able to display any power, any potency whatsoever, which actually God does display, God has, and he is displaying it beautifully. He just amazing. No, how is that? Remembering Krishna Leelas, when fire was there in Vrindavan, how did Krishna stop the fire? 2 fires were there. 2 times he did in different way. One time he swallowed the fire. Oh, nice breakfast. Have Agni for the breakfast. No? Swallow the fire. Second time, when fire, just blink with his eyes and fire will stop. Just see. Just see. We have only one way to extinguish the fire. What is that? Huh? What? Prasadam. That is different fire. That's different fire. Prasadam. I was thinking by chanting. Fire of material existence. All right. So, now Prabhupada goes on explaining. Krishna can act anything with any limb, part of his body. Krishna can eat with his eyes. Sometimes you can see people in the temples, particularly in North India. They buy some ladus, some milk sweets. They come in front of Radha Krishna's deities. They just open the box, put some tulasi, show to the Lord. And they all take out prasadam. They're fully convinced. Bhagavan seen, bas, prasadam, finish the business. They don't know the mantras. Maybe they cannot offer pujari, Some they give to pujari, some they don't give pujari. Just open the box. Hare Krishna, and finish prasadam. And it's true. But I'm not introducing new methods. We follow what Prabhupada said, no? Okay? And Krishna can hear with his eyes. He can hear with his eyes. This is amazing. Krishna can cut by touching. These are in the Shastra. Just like Krishna, when entered Mathura, he asked the washerman of Kamsa to deliver some cloth, but he refused. So Krishna merely cut off his head with his hand without any obstacle, just by hand. Hand acted like a sword. This is not even function of other senses. This is function of the sword. This is completely some other power. So you remember, every limb has all the powers of Krishna. Hand turns into a sword. There's no need I have to pull up the sword. But Krishna pull up the hand. Shoop, gone. You cannot cut anybody's head with the hand. It's not possible. But for Krishna, why I need a sword? Where is my sword? I have my sword. Shoot, finish. Just see this example, no? Angani Yasa. So that is omnipotency. omnipotence. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti pashanti panti kalayanti. Just like we offer prasadam, we offer foodstuffs to Krishna. An atheist class will say, you have offered Krishna foodstuff, but he has not eaten. Because everything remains on the plate. They say, you see, you are offering, but he is not eating. It is there, still lying. No, he does not see. He does not know that Krishna can eat simply by glance, by seeing. He eats because he says in Gita that patram pushpam phalam toyam yume bhaktya prayachati tadaham ashnami. Is he speaking lies? Krishna says, I will accept. Ashnami, aham ashnami. He eats, but we do not know his eating process. We compare Krishna as ourselves. If one plate is given to me, I immediately devour the whole thing. But Krishna is complete. He can eat the complete. Still it remains complete. Purnasya purnamadaya purnameva shishyate. Krishna finished all the plate, and Prabhupada say, to bless his devotees, to show mercy to his devotees, he still leaves full plate for devotees. Or one other time say, he manifests again. He eats it all and manifests again to purify his devotees. So in this way, we have to understand Krishna from the Shastra, from the Vedas. Then we shall understand Krishna. And once we understand Krishna, our life is successful. No? So look at this example. These are really... Now Srila Prabhupada gives another example of Krishna sensing endowed with all powers. Look at this. Nakam Adbhuta Shringam. Now this is, of course, Nrsimha Lila and Hiranyakashipu is involved. Wonderful nails. He wanted to be secure, Hiranyakashipu. I'll not die this way, I'll not die that way. But he forgot to say, I'll not die by the nails. He did not think then one can be killed by nails. He thought simply atom bomb can kill. He never thought Krishna can kill even by nails. Angani yasya sakalendi, everything. To just see the example, no? No? Another amazing example. Look at this. This is another amazing one. Angani yasya sakalendi everything. He can see with his lotus feet. He can see with his hand. We can see simply with our eyes. But Krishna can see with all the Angani yasya sakalendi everything. You have seen Krishna is playing flute. The fingers are open. A finger touching. What are you doing? We do not know the fingers can also see. So Krishna is playing flute and fingers are open. And Prabhupada said, they are seeing. What are you doing? The fingers are, look at it. You are seeing Krishna is playing flute. Fingers are open. Finger touching. What are you doing? No? Krishna can use his any energy, any power, any part of the body for anything else. This is Krishna. Gani yasya sakalendriya everything. The anga, the different parts of the body of Krishna has got all the qualities of other anga. Just like we can see with eyes, but Krishna can speak also with the eyes. Sometimes you can see this. When somebody gets some revelation, they said that it was not moving lips, but I could hear him speaking, for example, like that. Okay, now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaks. Brahma-saṁhitā says, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti, that these sense organs of Lord perform function of other organs. Thus by hearing, Krishna's other senses also enjoy it. So now what is the point? In Chaitanya Charitamrita it said, when Krishna heard glories of his devotees' love for him, how much his devotees love him, all his body became ecstatic. So he said, by hearing, all other senses also enjoyed. So this is very amazing. This is very amazing statement. This is another aspect. Now Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan explained something which impersonalists all the time confuse and misunderstand. Oh, every sense can do function of any senses. Lord can see through the eyes, through his feet. So when impersonalists want to meditate on Lord's feet and thinking Angani yasya sakalendriya, so he's seeing the feet with two eyes looking at him and big mouth and smile. And this is a mess. How you are going to focus your mind on the form? So look at the warning of Baladev Vidyabhushan. One might think that since his attributes are identical, being of the same transcendental substance, when one worships Lord, one should conceive each attribute as possessing characteristic of all of his other attributes. Brahma teaches, this is from comments from Brahma's prayers, but it's from Vedanta Sutra's commentary mentioned. Brahma teaches contemplation of the limbs of the Lord with only those qualities that naturally correspond to them. So now that you are thinking like this, Kṛṣṇa, any limbs can do anything. So he is holding flute with the legs and, this don't do mess. This is not recommended. If while beholding the Lord's beautiful lotus-like face, one were to suddenly see all the qualities of his other features, one would not be able to form a clear and definite apprehension of the Lord because of the confusion of all of his features. The Lord, however, is not confusion, but supreme order. Each feature of his transcendental body always appears as what it is, though each feature has the ability to act differently. It does not matter how the Lord uses his different limbs. But for the purpose of concentration, meditation, the devotee must not think of them in that way. The scripture in Bhagavad Gita 13:14 and other passages in scripture should be understood to mean that Supreme Personality of Godhead, being all-powerful, can do anything with any part of his body. That is the meaning. So all these Upanishads, here is the shloka, no? Sarvatra panipadam tat sarvatra kshishiro mukam sarvatra shutimal loke sarvam abrityatishthat. Means everywhere his hands, his legs, his eyes, face, he hears everything. In this way, super soul exists. So when you hear, what is description God? Everywhere his eyes, his hands, his legs, his ears. Definitely has no form. This is something inconceivable, no? But this is not the point. What it says? Simply it says that Supreme is so powerful that he can do anything with any part of his body. That is the meaning. And since his bodies are everywhere, Vishnu's avatar is everywhere, Paramatma is everywhere, and Jivas are everywhere, he can use any of this. So therefore, his hands and legs are everywhere, his eyes and faces are everywhere, he hears everything. This is how Lord functions. So this is how we understand these statements. No? Sometimes devotees are also a little uncomfortable when they come to this type of statements. Impersonal is also there, but anyway, we are Vaishnavas, we kind of want to know person, but you see, shloka say clearly impersonal. How can be everywhere his eyes? So you hear from acharyas, you hear from parampara, then you understand. There's no covering up, there's no hiding anything. There is no some, unripened portion of the Vedic knowledge. Everything is clear, but we have to hear. Okay, now Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur speaks further. Angani Yasya, he's commenting on the shloka. This means that each limb and sense of Lord Govinda's transcendental body can perform function of any other limb of senses. However, just as Lord Krishna manifests his different incarnations only at certain times when he deems it appropriate, so Lord Krishna manifests his extraordinary power of his various limbs and senses only at certain times when he deems it appropriate. So don't get confused. How is this possible all the time? All the time is this. All senses are doing function, other senses, it's really difficult to understand, So generally, he does not manifest it. Generally, he sees with his eyes, he hears with his ears, and thinks with his mind. Generally, he does not see with his hands or employ the extraordinary interchangeable powers of his other limbs and senses. Okay, the power is there. When he needs to use it, he uses it. When he needs to cut head off, cut the head off. No? So, like deity, that devotee wants to offer something from distance. Bhagavan immediately uses this. Yes, Ashnami, I accept it. I eat on your offer. So, whenever needed, he does it. But not that all the time he does so. Okay, so now this is difficult to understand, but there is some medical phenomena in the material. There's state of interchangeable sense experiences by the people who have synesthesia. This is described. Now they are saying that even around almost 4%, 3 to 4% of people in the world has this synesthesia experience. That is, doctors describe the cross-wiring in the brain. When a synesthetic person sees some particular thing, that thing may invoke some particular color or some particular, or sound they hear. They hear some music and that music will have a shape, or the music will have color. And if you say number 9, the synesthetic person will see the 9 is a yellow color. When I say 9, do you have any color attached to it? No. But synesthetic person immediately, 9 is yellow, 1 is blue, Monday is red, Tuesday is pink. They have a color attached to the form. Or there is one lady from Germany, she has a 4 interchangeable senses simultaneously. So when she hears the sound, some music, she sees the color and she gets taste on her tongue. So some frequencies, some tones are sa, re, ga, ma, pa. Pa is bitter. Sa is sweet. Physically, she is experiencing taste, agitation, by hearing the music. So their experience of music is different from you and me. She's seen the forms, she's seen the colors, she's experienced taste just by hearing. Wow, this is very amazing. And for them, it's just natural, just self-evident, just like, it's just happening. So even in material world, some people have interchangeable senses, like 1 or 2 or 3, 4 was maximum. So some experience of that is possible. It's not that it's impossible. They have different reality. They're seeing world differently than us. Okay, so this is, now there is another important aspect to understand from this shloka, that Krishna and his body are non-different. Padma Purana is quoted, Deha Dehi Bida Chaiva, Neshware Vidate Kvachit. In the Supreme Lord, there is no difference whatsoever between his body and himself. So this is important to understand. You can see Acharya's quote so many shlokas to show this. Mahasamhita is quoted, Deha Dehi Deha Vibedascha. No difference between Krishna's body and his form. There is no difference between any of the incarnations of the Lord, first of all. No difference between his body and his soul. In truth, all the incarnations are all pervasive and infinitely subtle. Thus, plays the Supreme Person Janardhan, making use of his opulent powers. So all the avatars, Tasya Sarva Avatareshu, Navesheshasti Kanchana. Any avatar can display full power of all other avatars. Dehi Deha Vibedascha, Napare Vidate Kvachit. And his body in his soul is not different. Not only Krishna's, but of all avatars also. Okay. Then again, we have Srila Sanatana Goswami quotes in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Dehi Deha Bida Chatra, Neshware Vidate Kvachit. The bodies of the Supreme are all free from defects, unsurpassed in excellence, and full in all transcendental qualities. Thus the Supreme Controller, Ishwarana, what is it? Oh, I'm missing some. Thus the Supreme Controller's body and the soul are not different. One line is missing by, I think by mistake was deleted. Thus the Supreme Controller's body and soul are never different from one another. This is how my notes are finishing, but I think got deleted by mistake. Okay, here. Dehi Deha Bida Chatra, Neshware Vidate Kvachit. Basically, he just quotes Padma Purana shloka, correct? See that? Dehi Deha Bida Chaiva, Neshware Vidate Kvachit. He just quotes in his shloka in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Padma Purana shloka, and explains it. No? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, this matter is dealt also in detail. Ishwaraya nahi khabu deha dehi bheda, swarupa deha chidananda nahi kavi bheda. At no time is there a distinction between the body and the soul of Supreme Personality of Godhead. His personal identity and his body are made of blissful spiritual energy. There is no distinction between them. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila. And this is the difference between even other sampradayas. Madhva Acharya, he teaches this, that body of the Lord and his soul are not different. And he accepts deity of the Lord also. Deity and Krishna are not different. And there was a big, His Holiness Bhanu Swami explains in his lecture that there was also big tension between Madhvas and Ramanujas, because Ramanuja says that the deity in the temple is the representation of the Lord from Vaikuntha. But Lord's body actually is different in Vaikuntha. But Madhva said, no, the deity and the body of the Lord are not different. Even the Ramanuja says that soul of the Lord is Avyakta and his body is Sachitananda. But he never separates his body from the soul, so he has spiritual form. But Madhva said, no, his soul and the body are same, there is no difference. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Navadvip Dhamma Mahatmya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two points from each sampradaya. So from Madhva he took this, that his body, Lord's body, and the soul are not different. So we are following this very much. This is our understanding. The deity is not different from Krishna, and we have in Chaitanya Charitamrita famous story of Sakshi Gopal, the deity actually walking from Vrindavan to Orissa to be witness to the marriage of the Brahmana. So this is like that. Okay. Dehi deha vibhago yam neshwari videkvashit. There's no distinction between body and the soul of the Supreme Lord. This is quoted from Kurma Purana now, and Srila Rupa Goswami quotes in Laghu Bhagavatamrita also. Again, Chaitanya Charitamrita says this. At no time there is a distinction between the body and the soul of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada gives the comment here. Now, this is from the conversation, I think. This is from conversation. Oh no, this is Bhagavatam class. Okay, this is June 10th, 1968. Prabhupada say, the body of man is not exactly body of God. There is no difference between body of soul and soul of God, because it is spiritual. Body of man and our soul is different, but body of God and God is not different, his soul. The soul is spiritual, the body is spiritual for God. Just like if you have got your golden body and golden soul, there is no difference between the soul and the body. But in our case, we are spirit soul, but this body is material. Therefore, I'm different from this body. But when you are liberated, we get spiritual body. Similarly, at that time, as Krishna has no difference between his body and soul, similarly, we also have no difference between body and the soul. So this is one hint that actually, even for Jiva, when it returns back home, back to Gautam in spiritual body, there is no difference between soul and the body. So now the question is, can Jiva do Angani Yasya Sakalendriya every 3 months? Jiva can do again as required for service, I believe. I was looking for a quote, but it was not directly shown. But if you see the instances that Krishna can empower any of his servants to do any function, if the soul can become in the form of river, Yamuna in Shantarasa, or take form of a tree to serve the Lord, be fully conscious. If spiritual world is made of full consciousness, then you understand that Jiva really can manifest amazing powers through his bodies by the power of the Lord, by the blessing of the Lord, by being empowered by the Lord and for the sake of service. Many things like Srila Prabhupada, many devotees will come in front of Prabhupada and understand that, oh, he knows my mind. He knows exactly what I'm thinking. Another devotee say, he looked at me and he looked through me. He looked at my soul, not all these coverings. He was looking at my soul. He knew all my previous life. This is my feeling. He knew everything, and he came to save me, to bless me out of his compassion. So you can see Prabhupada also, he empowered by Krishna to preach, to do these things, to whatever is needed for service, soul can be empowered. So this is one hint. Okay, I will stop here. It's 9 o'clock. Do you have any questions? Is there any question regarding this? It's a big subject, but it's very interesting. No? Krishna plays flute and sing, through these fingers. Prabhupada said, fingers are watching. It's amazing, no? Can do any function of any of other senses. This is amazing. Okay, so let's see. Yes, please. Okay, yes, Shloka, you have some question. Yes, please.
We are distributing Krishna book, which is the summary of 10th canto.
Yeah, we are distributing Krishna book, which is summary of 10th canto.
Someone may question, we are not supposed to.
Right.
Everybody gets that book.
Okay, got it. So Srila Prabhupada said that one should read first 9 canto before reading 10th canto. But we are distributing Krishna book, which is 10th canto. But Krishna book is not just 10 canto shlokas. Krishna book is 10 canto with Tatparya, with explanation of Srila Prabhupada, which I tell you includes all first 9 cantos points in the 10 canto. Therefore he wrote it, because he knew I have to explain this 10 canto before, if I don't get time to explain it I'm in old age. So immediately he explained 10 canto. He just not published shlokas. He given the commentary. And this is what we are distributing. And you can see all the points from first 9 canto and shlokas quoted there. And whether with Sanskrit or without Sanskrit is loaded with quotes and points from the conclusion of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. So no problem. Distribute the lotus face of Krishna in the form of Krishna book. All 9 cantos are loaded. It is atom bomb. Krishna book made so many devotees. And that's the proof. That's the proof that it made so many devotees. That was one of the first books. That's the first book distributed, Mahabook, distributed in Iskcon on the streets. You know that? Devotees went to fill up the petrol in the car, didn't have money, so they left 2 Krishna books there. They said, hey, it works. We can distribute books like this, because beginning didn't know exactly how to distribute books. One of the stories says so. Okay, no questions. Thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Gaur Premanande.